Xander Carmichael, known for his fascination with the paranormal, wrapped up his late-night radio show as the clock struck midnight. With a penchant for exploring the unknown, he chose the old freeway for his journey home, a path enveloped in mystery and ghostly tales. As he entered the fog-laden road, the familiar glow of city lights faded into darkness behind him, and an eerie silence settled inside his car. Xander was a man of contradictions. By day, he was a skeptical journalist, always seeking the truth in a world full of lies. By night, he was the host of Midnight Mysteries, a radio show dedicated to ghost stories and urban legends. His dual life kept him balanced, always teetering on the edge of belief and skepticism. Just as the surroundings grew more isolated, Xander's radio, usually a source of comfort with its constant stream of classic hits, began to crackle. Static overtook the music, and amidst the noise, Xander heard faint whispers. Intrigued, he adjusted the volume, straining to decipher the ghostly murmurs. Suddenly, a chilling voice broke through, "Return me home at that moment." A spectral figure appeared in the headlights, a woman, draped in white, her eyes hollow with sadness. Xander slammed on the brakes, heart pounding, as the ghostly figure approached. Her name was Alara. She revealed through the static-filled radio, a young woman lost to a hit and run accident on this very stretch. Bound to the sight of her untimely demise, her spirit could not rest, tormented by the injustice of her forgotten tragedy. She spoke of her life, her dreams, and the night that ended it all, her voice growing increasingly desperate for closure. Xander's breath fogged up the windshield as he faced the ghostly apparition. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. The figure's lips moved slowly, her voice a chilling blend of sorrow and the static from the radio. "Alara," she said, her story unfolding in fragmented whispers. She had been a victim of a hit and run on this freeway, her life snuffed out before justice could be served. Alara's spirit, it seemed, was tethered to this spot, bound by the unresolved trauma of her untimely death. She spoke of her dreams, her hopes, and the abrupt end to her earthly journey. Xander listened, his initial fear giving way to a deep, resonating empathy. He knew what he had to do. The next day, Xander returned to his studio with a renewed sense of purpose. His show that night was dedicated to Alara's story, a call to action for anyone with information about the hit and run that claimed her life. The phone lines lit up as listeners shared their own ghostly encounters, but one call stood out, a man named Henry, who claimed to have witnessed the accident. Henry described the night vividly, a foggy evening, much like the one Xander had experienced, a car speeding through the mist, and the sound of a collision. He had seen the car drive away, leaving Alara behind. His voice trembled with guilt as he admitted he had been too afraid to come forward at the time. Xander met with Henry the following day, recording their conversation for his show. Henry provided details that matched the few reports Xander had found in the archives. The police had long closed the case, but Xander's broadcast reignited public interest. Tips began to pour in, including one from a retired detective who had worked on Alara's case. The detective revealed that they had a suspect back then, a local businessman named Richard Caldwell, known for his reckless behavior. However, due to lack of evidence and Caldwell's influence, the case went cold. Xander now had a name and a direction. He confronted Caldwell, who vehemently denied any involvement, but the mounting pressure and renewed investigation eventually led to Caldwell's confession. Weeks later, Xander visited the freeway again. As he approached the spot where he first encountered Alara, there was nothing but the quiet whisper of the wind. The air felt lighter, the haunting presence gone. Alara was gone, her spirit finally at peace. Transformed by the encounter, Xander dedicated himself to uncovering and sharing more stories like Alara's. His show became a beacon for paranormal enthusiasts and a platform for unresolved tales, each story a testament to the spirits waiting to be heard. He became not only a storyteller but also a mediator between the living and the spectral, respected and revered in his community. The success of Alara's story encouraged more listeners to reach out with their own encounters and mysteries. Each account added layers to Xander's nightly broadcasts, weaving a rich tapestry of supernatural occurrences that captivated his audience. He explored haunted locations, documented ghostly sightings, and helped other restless spirits find their peace, becoming a well-known figure in the realm of paranormal investigation. Years later, Xander penned a book detailing his most chilling and moving experiences, including his first encounter with Alara. Titled Voices of the Freeway, it became a bestseller, inspiring others to look beyond what they understood about the world around them. Xander's legacy was not just in the stories he shared, but in the minds he opened and the hearts he touched. Xander's life took on a new rhythm, his nights filled with stories of the supernatural and his days dedicated to researching and writing. He found solace in his work, knowing that he was giving a voice to those who had been silenced. His show continued to grow in popularity, attracting a global audience of listeners fascinated by his tales of the unknown. One evening, a woman named Marianne called in. She spoke of her brother, who had vanished years ago, his fate never uncovered. Marianne's voice trembled with hope and despair as she asked for Xander's help. Moved by her plea, Xander promised to investigate, using his platform to shed light on her brother's disappearance. Xander's investigation into Marianne's brother's disappearance led him down a winding path of clues and dead ends. He interviewed family members, friends, and former colleagues, piecing together a timeline of events. Each new lead brought him closer to the truth, but also deeper into the darkness that surrounded the case. One night, while sifting through old files in his studio, Xander experienced a chilling presence. The temperature dropped and the lights flickered. A cold breeze swept through the room, carrying with it a faint whisper, "Find me." Xander knew he was on the right track. As Xander delved deeper, he uncovered a hidden connection between Marianne's brother and a local legend about a haunted forest on the outskirts of town. According to the legend, those who ventured into the forest at night never returned. Determined to find answers, Xander decided to explore the forest himself. Equipped with a flashlight and a recorder, Xander ventured into the forest under the cover of darkness. The trees loomed overhead, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the sound of his footsteps. As he moved deeper into the forest, he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. In the heart of the forest, Xander discovered an old, abandoned cabin. The door creaked open, revealing a room filled with old photographs and personal belongings. Among them, Xander found a journal belonging to Marianne's brother. The journal detailed his search for the truth about the forest legend and his encounters with the supernatural. As Xander read the journal, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Marianne's brother had discovered a dark secret about the forest, one that had claimed the lives of many before him. The spirits of the forest victims were trapped, unable to move on until their stories were told. Xander knew what he had to do. Xander returned to his studio with the journal, ready to share Marianne's brother's story with the world. His final broadcast was a tribute to the lost souls of the forest, a powerful narrative that wove together their tales of tragedy and hope. As he spoke, the studio filled with a palpable energy, as if the spirits themselves were listening. Marianne called in during the broadcast, her voice filled with gratitude and relief. She thanked Xander for his dedication and for giving her brother's story the closure it deserved. The broadcast ended with a sense of fulfillment, knowing that the spirits of the forest had finally found peace. Xander's journey transformed him from a skeptic into a believer, a man who not only sought out stories but also gave them life and closure. His nights on the freeway, once filled with curiosity and fear, now echoed with the voices of those he had helped. In the quiet moments between each broadcast, he could almost hear Alara's voice, thanking him for the peace he had brought her. If you want to see more horror stories, please like the video, share your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Stay with us, thank you, and see you in the next videos.